Hello and welcome to my channel. I thought I would give a brief overview or information on what this channel is all about. I thought about it before saying, you know what, maybe just let people understand what's going on. Why is it that I did this? What is it that my goal is? What do I hope to accomplish with it? So the channel is called Terry Cares for Health. And in reality, the Terry Cares for Health was almost like when I got that name at first, it was to really hide the true meaning of what the channel was all about, because I was afraid that people weren't ready for my direction and my journey that I was going through in spirituality. So the cares really meant practices. It meant the stuff that you do day to day, right? And the health was health in everything, but it was health more in spirituality. It was health more in understanding that we are a spiritual being having a human experience. And that's where we have missed, or we have forgotten that that's who we are. And when I say we have forgotten, myself included, I'm in the process of awakening to who we really are. And one of the things that we do know, and I'm going to get to the part about, doing the channel. But one of the things that we do know and we can agree with is that life is short. We always say that life is short. Well, if life is short, that means something else is long. And I think we also agree that yes, something else is longer. And so our concept is that what we're doing right now is generally to prepare us for the afterlife. What we are struggling with is this afterlife somewhere that we'll just be stuck? Do we have a life? Do we have an existence before this current one that you're seeing? Will you have an existence after this one that you're seeing? Well, it's a lot of those things that has to do with the practices that we have to do for a healthy individual to really understand all those. So the Terry Cares for Health are practices for our spirituality. Now, our spirituality is a little different from most religions, how we see it today. When religion started, was to let us realize that we have the power and we have a lot of things inside of us that we are in control of for our own development. Well, unfortunately, a lot of controls were put in place. A lot of things where we're supposed to be giving our power back to an entity, to an organization, or to whatever it is, were put in place. So we have broken apart. We have come apart from our true journey and our true understanding of why we are here and what are some of the things that's gonna take place. So I've been going through that realization, the remembering, the recollection of what it is, because certain things didn't feel right to me. And so now in this practice that I'm going through, there are three main things that I keep in mind. One is unconditional love for all being. The other one is freedom of choice. And the third one is do no harm. So my channel is really twofold. The channel is here so I can share what I've learned with others. And so as soon as I go through that learning process, then I like to come out and say, hey, here's what I've learned. Here are some of the things that we can do to move from where we are. So I like to give practical tips. So I call it practical spirituality. Shouldn't say I call it practical spirituality. I think that word or that term has been out there for a while where people say, hey, you know what? Spirituality is a part of what we do every day. So just whatever it is that you do in your daily life is spiritual, and you should abide by that or just think about it that way, right? So it's practical spirituality. So the first part that I think is in that practical spirituality is us remembering, taking care of ourselves, realizing that we have the power and stuff like that. And so my very first video series, The 4 States of Health, touched on that. So I do believe that's the first thing that we have to go through. We have to understand the 4 states of health, because the 4 states of health deals with your mental, it deals with what you put inside your body, it deals with how you move and how you operate, and it also deals with how you exchange with things around you. To me, that's the basic part of what we need. That's the foundation. As I'm recording this is my second year into the channel, and I have developed what I call the 7 pillars to our third dimension. Whatever religion you're in, I believe that spirituality is a part of all religions. It's just the freedom that you have. So we have the 7 pillars of our third dimension. And the 7 pillars of our third dimension just goes through the knowledge that we need to have. It helps with the action, but it's not the action itself. So then we go into our spiritual growth and development. This is where the action starts. This is where I have it in such a way that the allegory is from birth until death. And even in the Bible, it says we are supposed to live about 120 years. So the allegory goes through a person's age group from birth until death, that shows the progression of spirituality as the individual grows. The other part is really harmonizing what we call all our other bodies, which is our emotional body and mental bodies and spiritual body. We try to harmonize those, and those are the non-physical part of us. So the 4 states of health deals a lot with the physical and how we bring that together. This part just harmonizes the other things. What do we do with emotion? What do we do with our heart? What do we do with the processing through the brain? So harmonizing that comes through what I call the Terminster, which is the Terry mental state. I'll shorten it to say it's Terminster right there. So we learn about that as well. We put that into practice on how it is that we're going to develop that part of our spirituality. Then we look into the different practices to bring this all together. And the different practices at that point has to do with what are some of the rituals or celebrations or directions that multiple systems show us as we go through. And these systems are what we now call religion. And in most of these religions, in all these religions, there are parts of it that work. And then there are parts of it that are for control. I don't believe in, if someone is not going to do this exactly as I tell them, that there should be genocide, that there should be holy war, that we should have crusades to go round them up, that we should have punishment because they're going to be damned for life, right? I do not buy into that. I buy into the unconditional love, the freedom of choice, and the do no harm. I buy into the part that says we all are in this together. We just have different flavors of doing it. And because we are born currently in one area, we shouldn't then say because another area that does it the opposite, who if they're not doing any harm, they're still giving unconditional love and they're still doing freedom of choice, but they're just doing it differently, that we should cast them out. Sort of don't believe in that. So my goal for this is to seamlessly put all these different things together with practical, actionable steps that we all can go through. So what you realize is that on my channel, you'll see meditation series, you might see exercise series, you'll see prayers, then you'll see stuff that teaches you about the different parts of the universe and where that is, how it is that we strive through the different things that we struggle with here in this experience, how we line things up. So you bring it all together, and you will able then to utilize the different tools in your life based on the conditions that you're in, along with just this underlining theme of love, freedom of choice, and do no harm. And then the rest of it will just fall into place. So I hope that gave some idea as to what this is all about and why it might seem that it's all over the place with different things. It's really just trying to help us to organize this dimension that we're in such a way that can help us ascend spiritually for where we need to be later on. And with that said, thank you very much for listening. And also thanks for the support. Thanks for liking and sharing, commenting, or anything that you can do to help grow the channel. It also grows the community. It finds like-minded people as well. And that's really appreciated. I think a lot of us right now are really gravitated to something that helps them to understand a little bit more about how all this is really going and why are we here? Why does it feel so disconnected to certain things that of old or certain control systems? Why do we feel so disconnected from that? And so with all the contributions that you are making to this channel really helps to get the information out there. And I'm growing through this as well. And so with that interaction helps me to grow. And all I'm trying to do here is just share what I get when I get it, and we just grow together. All right. So hopefully you're okay with that. All right. Until next time. Bye.